Hey guys, welcome back to J&M Sports Talk, and we are here to preview Week 4
Yep.
action of college football. And Jonathan, we're already a quarter of the way through with the football season. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. You know what's also sad? This is the last night in this room.
Oh man,
Yeah.
the Keller Williams Studios in Pensacola. It's our last show filming here.
Bittersweet.
Bittersweet.
That's where it started, but yeah, we're excited. Next week we're getting a whole new place to do our show. Gonna try to look a little more professional, have our own little mini set. So we're excited for that next week. But we have work to do still here. So let's get started.
All right, yeah. Got 19 games to pick for you guys. Let's start with our quick picks.
All right.
So let's start with Florida Atlantic and UCF. This is a Friday night game.
It is. You know, what's interesting, in fact, is we haven't really seen much of Florida Atlantic other than that thumping against Oklahoma. I'm not going to hold that against them. They've got a really high-power offense, but still, I'm going to go with the defending national champs, UCF. Milton's just too good on offense. I think they'll be able to outscore them still.
Yeah, I'm going UCF at home too. It's hard to pick against them.
Right.
All right, let's go Washington State and USC. This is another Friday night matchup. Mm-hmm. Second year in a row. Who you got in that one?
You know what? It's just hard to trust JT Daniels in this USC offense right now to score much at all. So with that being said, I'm going to go with Washington State.
Yeah, I'm going Washington State. You know, they've been under the radar this year.
Mm-hmm.
Undefeated, have put some points up on the board. USC had that disappointing loss last week against Texas. I think they'll probably rebound, but I'm going Washington State in this game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Georgia and Missouri, SEC matchup, early game.
Yep. I think Georgia's got a good defense. It's going to be hard to pick against them, but, you know, Drew Lock getting that home cooking. I'm going to go Missouri here in the upset.
Upset. Wow.
Yep.
You heard it here first. He's going Missouri. I'm not picking against Georgia.
Yeah.
I'm not. Until they prove otherwise, I will not pick against them. I'm going Georgia in this one. How about the Golden Eagles of Boston College? Facing Purdue.
Yeah, I was really impressed with their game against Wake Forest this last week. You know, both teams looked really good, but BC was just a little bit better, and they showed it. I'm going to go with BC in this one to continue this run.
Yeah, Boston College ranked.
Mm-hmm.
It's surprising to see that this early in the season, but I'm going Boston College in this one as well. They've impressed thus far. That was a good win against Wake Forest on the road last week.
It was.
Let's stay in the ACC. Pittsburgh traveling to Chapel Hill in North Carolina.
Yeah,
you know, liking that one?
Yeah, North Carolina was one of the teams that missed out on their game this week because of the storm. So I have a little more time to prepare and stuff. But, you know, I was really impressed with this Pitt team and their win against Georgia Tech. I'm going to go with the Panthers in this one.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Also should be noted, North Carolina, they had that scandal preseason about players selling their gear for money. So those majority of those players are still suspended for this game. So I like that pick. I'm gonna stick with Pitt in this one as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about South Carolina and Vanderbilt. This is a bit of a tougher game to pick.
It was, you know, and like everyone knows who's watched the show how much I really love the South Carolina team, and I still do. But you know, the way Vanderbilt played against Notre Dame and the ball they're playing this year, I'm gonna go with Vanderbilt at home, getting the upset here. It would be an upset in my mind. I really like the South Carolina team, but Vanderbilt's just playing really good ball right now. And at home, I'm going to go with the Commodores.
All right, so just an aside, I got to ask you this. So you're picking Vandy to win this game. Does that mean that South Carolina will still go to the SEC championship?
Oh, I think we know that's done.
That's so. All right. We're past that.
The East is open.
They had their chance. Yeah. All right. Okay. I'm going South Carolina in this game. Even though they are on the road, I just think that they have more talent than Vanderbilt will. Also, Vandy had that tough loss last week against Notre Dame. It's going to be tough for them to get back at it. But I'm going South Carolina in this one. All right, let's talk about probably one of the more entertaining matchups for this week. Texas Tech and Oklahoma State, two of the more impressive offenses. Who are you liking that one?
They are. You know, and the problem is with this one is you don't know what Texas Tech team is going to show up. Because of that, I learned my lesson last week picking the Broncos. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. I'm not gonna pick against them twice in 2 weeks. So I'm gonna go OK State in this one.
Yep, OK State for me as well. They're at home. I think they'll be able to get the job done there.
Mm-hmm.
Troy and the Warhawks of Louisiana Monroe.
You know what? I was right about the Trojans picking some corn last week. You know what? They're going to pluck some feathers off the Warhawks this week. Go Trojans.
Yeah, I'm going Troy in this one as well. Arizona State and Washington.
Yeah. You know what? This is another one that, like, I think it's going to be a really good game that not many people are going to be expecting. You know, Washington has not really, since the Auburn game, really done much. So I'm going to go with Washington, but I think it's going to be a really close game. And it may come down to, if it comes down to coaching, Herm Edwards, the way he's been playing, maybe he'll pull up the upset. But I'm going to stick with a safe pick in Washington here. But don't be shocked if it's a really good game and close.
Yeah, it should be. All of Arizona State's games this year have been pretty close, and they've found a way to at least, be close at the end. I'm going Washington in this one. I think they're clearly the better team. But I think this one will be a defensive matchup for sure. But I'm going Washington. Notre Dame and Wake Forest. How do you see that one going?
I think Wake Forest is going to be still struggling after that loss to BC. And they're facing Notre Dame, who's playing really good ball. I like Notre Dame in that defense to get this one.
Yeah, I like Notre Dame in this game too. Even though they're going on the road, I think this is their first road game of the year. But it should be interesting to see how they handle that. All of Notre Dame's games have been close this year.
They have.
So this one will probably be another close game, but I like them to get that W. Give me a quick pick for Michigan State and Indiana.
You know what? This game, it should be another really entertaining game, but when you're struggling to make a pick, it's hard to go against Sparty. They're just so reliable. I don't see them losing twice for me. So I'm going to go with Sparty in this one.
And they've had 2 weeks to prepare.
Right.
They had a bye week last week, and Indiana's undefeated. So should be an interesting matchup, but I'm going Michigan State. I'm with you on that one. All right, let's get to our picks. So let's stay in the Big Ten. We've got Nebraska, winless Nebraska, and Scott Frost traveling to the Big House in Michigan.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would have expected them winless going into this game. But I like Michigan. I like this Michigan team. And we talked about before the whole thing about Auburn and LSU getting that out of the way. Maybe that was the same similar thing for Michigan and having Notre Dame early on the year. They got that bullet out of the way, and they've been playing a lot better ball since then. So I'm gonna go with Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan, they've definitely improved the last few weeks. Shea Patterson's getting his feet underneath them. I'm going Michigan in this one as well. Maybe using a little bit of reverse psychology with Nebraska. Maybe going away from home and having a road game, away from the pressure of all their fans. Maybe that'll do them some good. But I think the logical pick is Michigan in this one.
Yeah, that's a good point though too, because a lot of coaches, it's easier for a team to go on the road sometimes, especially when they've been struggling at home, just to get away from everything going on and just focusing on just that game. So, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, Texas A&M and Alabama. This game should be a good game. Texas A&M's first game on the road.
Right.
How do you see this one going?
I think this is a good opportunity to find out if this was just Texas A&M showing up that Clemson game because it was at home and they had the fans' support behind them to stay in it. I think we're going to find out a lot about them. I still think this Bama team's a good bit better. I think it'll be a good game. I'm going to say Bama wins by like 10 or so.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Kellen Mond has impressed this year. I mean, his passing ability has significantly increased. Now, whether that's Jimbo Fisher or whether that's just Kellen Mond training at a high level, I don't know. But I think he'll definitely be tested against this Alabama defense. It's a younger Alabama defense, not a lot of experience. They replaced a lot of guys from last year. But I'm going to go with Alabama at home in this one. The biggest thing, I've mentioned this in other shows, but it's Alabama's passing game that makes them different. So even if they get in a shootout with Texas A&M, I think Alabama can keep pace with them.
All right.
So I'm going Alabama at home. All right, let's go with Clemson and Georgia Tech, an ACC matchup.
Yep.
How do you see that one
You know
playing
what?
out?
This one, I think this is going to be another really good game. We've got several this week that are going to be really good to watch, I think. Even though Georgia Tech lost that week, they're still one of those teams that Marshall's such a solid quarterback for them and their system that it's so difficult to turn around for 1 week after prepare for. And with some of the possibilities of Kelly Bryant having some issues, possibly with concussions again,
Yeah.
will that linger and affect the game? We'll find out. And moving forward for Clemson, I'm still going to pick Clemson in this game, but I think it's going to be a really good and close game because of Georgia Tech's offense.
Yeah, I agree with you about the close game thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think what Georgia Tech, their strategy is probably going to be to slow the game down
Right.
and just try to gradually move the chains, limit the number of opportunities that Clemson has with the ball, and see where they're at in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
So I think this will be a close game. I agree with you on that. I'm going Clemson. I think they'll still get the victory. It is a road game for them.
Right.
And Clemson hasn't played well on the road this year. They traveled to a hostile environment in Texas A&M. Not saying Georgia Tech is that same type of a hostile environment, but I do think this one will be a close game. But I like Clemson and their defense to really bow up and stop that Georgia Tech offense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, next, probably the toughest game for me to pick. I don't know about you, Jonathan, but TCU and Texas.
Yeah, I definitely took the blunt of it, thinking they were get blown out last week against Ohio State, which makes this pick even more difficult. I like TCU. They proved a lot to me last week, but so did Texas. I mean, it says something that when they did actually thump USC the way they did, even though I was at home. This game's at home as well for them. We're gonna find out if maybe they found something offensively with Ellinger, got him moving in the right direction. So I'm gonna go with Texas here. I think it'll be a good game and close, but I'm gonna go with Texas.
This was such a tough game for me, and ultimately I just had to flip a coin.
Yeah.
But seriously, I'm going TCU in this one. I think their defense will be able to stop the Texas offense. It is a road game for them, but I trust in Gary Patterson. I think he's going to have them ready to play.
Mm-hmm.
They really proved a lot to me last week in that Ohio State game. I really was impressed with them, especially in the first half. But I'm going to go TCU. This should be one of the better games of the weekend, I think. All right, let's go with an couple of SEC matchups: Mississippi State and Kentucky.
Yep.
Yeah, you called the upset in this one?
Yeah. Well, I was talking to you pre-show about if Mississippi State, the way they're playing ball right now, if they're playing for any other team, we'd be talking about them as a top 10 team possibly. But with that being said, I think I am going to pull the upset. I like Kentucky at home, and it's because every year it seems that every year there's one or two teams that go up in Lexington and they get a fight they don't expect. I think Mississippi State's going to be going in riding high and thinking they're going to take care of business like they have been the last few weeks, and they're going to get a fight from these Wildcats. But the difference between this year and a lot of those other years, Kentucky's already beat Florida. Thinking the momentum they have after that and the relief that they have as a program, I think they're going to be able to stand up those late games and know, hey, we can not only play with these teams, but we can beat them. Now that they've got that off their back. So I'm going to pull the Wildcats getting upset only because it's in Lexington.
Yeah, Kentucky is at home, so I mean that should give them a slight edge. But I have Mississippi State. I mean they returned the most players in the SEC from last year's team. Their offense is good. Their defensive line's good. I just can't pick against the Bulldogs in this one. So I'm gonna pick Mississippi State. But this should be an entertaining game. It really should be. All right, probably a less entertaining game is another SEC matchup, Florida and Tennessee. Is it just whoever can kick a field goal, maybe?
You know what? This was so hard. I'm going to go with the Gators because, I'm going to pick Florida because, I guess. I don't know. Between the two teams, both have so many issues they need to be working on.
Yeah.
I just think Florida knows who they are a little more right now, and Tennessee's still trying to figure things out, still learning from a new coach, trying to figure out their identity. Where I think Florida knows their identity, they're just trying to live up to it, I think, more. So I'm going to go with Florida in this one. I think it's going to be another close game, maybe like last year. Last second throw by Franks to beat them, but I think it'll be a good game, but I'm going to go with Florida.
Yeah, Florida was able to rebound from that Kentucky loss that you referenced earlier last week. So I like for Florida to win this game. Really, they've had Tennessee's number the last few years. Tennessee finally got over the hump. But I like for Florida to win this game. It is in Knoxville. But I trust Dan Mullen. He'll have that offense ready to score some points against Tennessee. So I've got Florida in that one. Let's move on to a Pac-12 matchup, Stanford and Oregon. This is the College Game Day game this week.
Yeah, I think both teams are going to be really – this is going to be a huge test for both teams. I'm really looking forward to this. Might be the best game of the day. I'm hoping at least. But, I'm gonna go with Bryce Love and Stanford in this one. Then they're going to go – if there's one thing – if you're able to run the ball in a hostile environment like Autzen the Zoo is, then you're going to be in a good shape to win this game. I think Bryce Love is due to have a breakout game to show everyone, hey, I'm the star y'all think I am. And I think he's going to be a big reason why they're going to win this game. And I'll even give the viewers my score for the game for Pick'em since it is. I'm going to say Stanford wins 28-24. So really good close game, but being able to run the ball, Bryce Love is going to make one more play.
Yeah, I think this will be a close game like you're saying. This is actually one upset that I'm going to pick this week. I think Oregon at home, just that hostile environment. Another thing is Stanford has not been impressive on offense this year. I think their defense is good, but Oregon's offense is pretty good too. So I'm going to pick Oregon in this one. I just to give a score since you gave a score, I'm going to say 21-20. 1 point victory at home.
Too soon for me, the 1 point scare mark.
Too soon on the 1 point scare, but I really believe that Oregon has enough talent to win this football game. And Stanford, they haven't met expectations this year so far. So I'm gonna go Oregon. Let's talk our last pick of the week, Wisconsin and Iowa. Jonathan, who do you like in this one?
You know what? I really like this Iowa defense. If it was just strictly on who plays better defense, I'm going Iowa here. But I think Wisconsin got really a bad week. They've been hearing, they're going to hear about it all week about how did they lose to BYU, and I think they're going to put it on Iowa. I like Wisconsin in this one. And Jonathan Taylor having a big game.
Yeah, you got to get your Jonathan Taylor comment in there. I mean, he's really impressive. But a guy that goes under the radar is Hornibrook, the quarterback. I mean, this is his second year as starter. So I'm going to go Wisconsin in this one. I think they have a lot to prove in this one. Iowa is undefeated, but Wisconsin going in there, I think they have the overall better team. So I'm going to go Wisconsin as well. Overall, some really good games. Really looking forward to this week of college football. We'll be back with you to talk about how it went and who impressed us, who disappointed us, and who is who we thought they were. So be sure to tune in next week. Like Jonathan said, we will be in a new location, so be sure to tune in. See you guys.